Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our For Life Episode 3 reaction. This is, we've made it to an interesting point in this show because I think these first 3 episodes, in a lot of ways, they kind of represent an arc. And it's certainly not the end of the season by any means, but so much of these 2 episodes has been about watching Aaron Wallace try to get that police file that he's so desperate for answers on.
And he's already got it.
Yeah, spoiler alert, obviously. He already has the police file. He's got it in his possession. What does this mean for the show moving forward? We'll talk about that. We'll also set the stage for episode 4, which is airing in a couple weeks, because it's going to be totally different from anything you pretty much have seen on the show so far. Before we dive into it, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates that we've got coming up. So let's just start with your surprise. I think you are legitimately surprised that he already has the police file.
Yeah, I was really surprised that he already had this. I even shouted out from the other office where I was just like, already? He already has this? It just felt very fast. And I've said this throughout the series so far, that there's a lot that I really like about this. I love the acting. I think the story's really cool. I love that it's based on a true life story, which is probably maybe why he got the file so fast, is we may be following along with the story. I don't know the real life story as well. I'm learning it through the show. And obviously it's a TV show, so I'm sure they're going to take some sort of liberties to tell a story through TV, as they typically do when there's a true story. So, I was a little bit surprised that we're only 3 episodes in and he got his hands on his own police records. That was shocking. I thought we were going to have a much bigger struggle to get to those police files, because I think there's going to be some stuff in there that's going to move him forward in a big way.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case. And, I am surprised about it. My guess, though, after seeing this happen is, and this is a question I think we've been having, is how much are they going to make For Life about what's happening to Aaron Wallace in prison versus how much are they going to make For Life about what happens to him after prison? Because I could see, presumably, maybe he gets out at the end of season 1, and then he tries to go and practice law and try to help fix the justice system from the outside. But then he still has to deal with prejudice from people who want to downplay his experience, to say, oh, you were just a prisoner. I think there's still a lot of story that could be told there. But I did kind of foresee it, this maybe being a episode 6, episode 7 sort of twist. I think that this is the producers of For Life basically showing us, okay, you know what? We're not going to drag stuff out. We're going to give you resolution to things. We're going to give it to you fairly quickly. And maybe they felt the need to give us a little bit of hope, because the case with the Sam did not exactly go as Aaron expected it to.
Yeah, no, it didn't. And I'm all right with that, because I really have wanted to continue to sort of see Aaron getting his law legs and figuring it out. And I want to see him have some wins, but I want to see him have some losses, because I want to see his career building.
And you know what it felt like to me is that he lost the battle, but he sort of won the war here. And I mean, not so much for Sam, obviously, because he still did not exactly get out of what was a very complicated and perilous legal situation. Like, that's the challenge here in doing videos and talking about some of the cases, is that unlike Aaron Wallace, we do not have the legal know-how that he does. So to try to figure out if this would really work or apply in the real world, I just don't know. But I think that they wanted to have him have some sort of setback so that it didn't feel like he was winning all the time. But because of the work that he did, maybe he was able to foster enough goodwill, at least in terms of our client's brother, the police officer, who may have been able to pull some strings.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he went through the police file as well, since he was able to tell Aaron, like, make sure you take a look at page 76 or whatever it was. So there's something in there already, and now we know that this cop knows that there's
Yeah.
something in there. So should something happen to that file or whatever, there is at least one other person that has seen it, that knows it. So Aaron's not just kind of completely in the wind if something goes sideways with this.
There is a witness. Witnesses are so important. It's that witness that they've apparently, Maskins and his rest of his cronies have been sort of making up to keep Aaron from getting this file in the first place. By the way, I still hate Maskins. I still think he's horrible.
I will say, though, that I was really happy to see, not because I wanted it to happen to Aaron, but I was happy to see that forgery story came up. That this was them trying to find a way to actually figure out that he did something illegal to bring into the courtroom. I was wondering if that was going to be a thing that was going to come back to get Aaron, if this was a thing that throughout his time in prison being a lawyer, if he was going to have to use what was at his fingertips to be able to win cases and show that, well, these guys are out of jail and they're doing these types of things. Well, I'm in jail, so I'm going to have to do these types of things to prove what the truth is. But it was interesting to see that came back. I wasn't sure if it was actually going to, and I'm glad to see that it did and that it came back fast.
And I think it needed to be fast. It needed to happen. We needed to actually explore it because, it's not exactly as though Maskins and his crew on the outside are just doing everything above board, but they don't have the scrutiny and the attention of prisoners do. That someone like Aaron in his position, every single thing he does is going to be scrutinized, and he's going to be treated a million times harder. He's going to be taken less seriously by the judges and the show. You can show that Aaron Wallace is brilliant at what he does while also still showing just how impossible it is for him to do what he does.
Yeah, it is pretty impossible. That's why when we were kind of getting sort of like a win after another win, and like I was starting to feel like the show was already losing a little bit of its footing because he's still new, and I wanted to see that this is the thing, that he needs to find his footing. He needs to get a couple losses, and that's why for me this was a really strong episode.
It was a good episode in sort of making sure that the writers, they told us they did not forget about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Also, we were able to be invested even more in hating Maskins because why you gotta do that to Marie at her job while she's caring for someone with cancer? It just feels like, could you have not waited until lunch break? Could you not have gone anywhere else? That was just very, very distasteful, Maskins. I am wagging a finger at you.
Especially if she just was like, here's my phone number. If you need me for anything, you just need to even just call just because you're scared. Can we talk to you now? It's just like the look on that woman's face is like, oh my goodness. What is happening? What is happening to this person that's caring for me? And she just gave me her phone number. It was the fear that she had already had was just raised to an 11 at that point.
Yeah, don't you think this poor woman who has cancer is already stressed out enough, and now you need to just barge in here and make this big show? And I know why Maskins is obviously doing it. It is the whole, if we can't get Aaron Wallace on the inside, we're going to ruin the lives of everyone close to him on the outside. And
he's a terrible, terrible human being.
Exactly. This is what people like him do to sort of wield and leverage power over those that they want to be quiet and not do anything. And yes, it sucks, and it sucks royally, but I think the reality is that there's still, because there's still hope for Aaron, I don't think Marie is going to give up on him, even if she does have, Darius, the friend, who is totally being the whole, don't mess with this anymore. Stay away from it.
I'm out on Darius. I don't know what it is, and I know that it's probably it is a big TV trope to be like, it's the boyfriend, or it's the husband, or it's the wife that's behind it all. But, I don't really trust Darius at this point. I mean, that was his best friend, has moved in on his woman, and then is now, this episode specifically, is now getting really all up in a bunch about this, helping him out, and you need to stay away from him, and what if he gets out of jail, and what about me and us, and this, there's something going on. I don't know what it is, and I don't necessarily think that Darius is up to no good and he's the one that put him in jail. Maybe that's where we're going, but I just think this show is going to go in a different direction, but that he has some sort of weird involvement in something. Something's not right there.
I think at the very least, I think he does seriously harbor some feelings. You know, like, oh, you know, would it be the worst thing if Darius, you know, if Aaron was
stayed in jail? Yeah, I know, and that's why I was starting to get like kind of like, like, why do you want your best friend to stay in jail? Like, I understand you wanna stay with her, and that if he gets out, maybe that won't happen, but trust your relationship then. And if she's only with you because Aaron's in jail, then move along, Darius.
Yeah, seriously. Well, the interesting thing about episode 4, which we're gonna have to wait an extra week for, but we're gonna actually, I know, we're gonna get some backstory on Marie, and it seems like this episode is gonna be told mostly from her perspective as we go back, you know, it seems like around 9 years or so to sort of see the origins of everything. And I think that's going to be important to sort of get the sense of how she's feeling about things now that she has been going through this for years, even though we are just kind of now getting to take a peek into this world.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to this episode and more episodes where we start to get to know the people that are around Aaron, that are in his life. Yeah. And more about Marie and more about his kid, even more about Darius, who I just still don't
I know.
Yet. But I want to know more about the supporting characters and more about their lives and how this has also affected them, because I need to be invested in everybody. Yeah. And right now the people I'm really invested in is Aaron and his daughter.
Yeah.
And Ronnie a little bit, even though he wasn't.
Yeah, I know. Ronnie was just MIA this whole time. But
he was, but I really liked him in the last episode. But I need to be more invested in everyone else. So this is a good time, episode 4, episode 5, to start like really dipping into the supporting characters and let us know more about them. Yeah. Because it's only going to enrich Aaron's story.
And at this point, we have a compelling tease on Aaron's story and that he's got the police file. We can wait and see what's in there. But for now, we're going to take some time with Marie, and we'll see if there's actually a little bit of the police file mixed in at some point in that episode. But for now, what did you think about For Life episode 3? And are you enjoying this season so far? Let us know in the comments, and if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time.